Hi guys, welcome back to another week of Game Things. I'm your host for the week, Ming, and this week we'll start off our major news segment talking about Ubisoft. So last week, Ubisoft announced that their subscription service, Ubisoft Plus, which is currently only available for PC, will also be coming to Xbox sometime in the future. So for those of you that aren't aware what Ubisoft Plus is, it's basically the Xbox or PC Game Pass, but with titles released by Ubisoft. This is definitely great news for Xbox users as you guys will be able to play titles like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Watch Dogs, etc. without having to pay the full price for these titles. Speaking of Far Cry, the most recent DLC for Far Cry 6 was just released. In this DLC, the player will be able to take control of Pagan Min and learn more about the backstory of this interesting villain from Far Cry 4. If any of you are interested in the story of Pagan, I do suggest you guys give this DLC a shot, but do be prepared to do some grinding, as this DLC includes some roguelike elements to it. The roguelike elements in question is basically permadeath. So if you were to die, you would have to restart your run from the beginning, but of course, like most other roguelikes out there, there'll be certain unlocks that the player can earn to make future runs easier. That's all we have on Far Cry, and now let's move on to our last piece of Ubisoft news featuring Rainbow Six Extraction. The upcoming game will feature the operatives from Rainbow Six Siege taking on alien creatures. It's basically a Left 4 Dead 2 type of game, but with Siege characters and abilities, and a party size of up to 3 players only. Rainbow Six Extraction also features a large arsenal of enemies for players to face, including the typical Charger and Boomer from other games, but at the same time also featuring unique enemies. One such enemy is called the Rooter, which as its name suggests, well, roots people. The key difference of this rooting based enemy compared to similar titles out there is that the Rooter launches AoE ground spikes that keep you in place, which I personally feel that it's pretty cool. This is one of the enemies that can be found in the game, and if any of you guys are interested in knowing more, you guys can look it up yourselves or get the game when it's released on 20th January. Speaking of its release, Ubisoft has announced that the game will be available on Game Pass at launch, and for those of you that don't have Game Pass and are still interested in the game and are willing to pay full price for it, you guys will be able to receive a buddy pass that you guys can give to your friends so that they can enjoy the game with you. The only downside about the buddy pass is that the pass only allows your friend to play the game with you for 2 weeks, effectively making it a trial version, but hey, I guess getting something is better than getting nothing, am I right? And that's all we have on Ubisoft for this week. Next, let's talk about some news featuring Riot Games. First off, we have news on League of Legends. So the new Season 12 has started last week, and with the new season, various updates were introduced, including new rank visuals, a new challenges feature that tracks the player's achievements, a revamp to their Battle Pass system, as well as a roadmap to what new champions will be released this year. Speaking of champions, a new champion was introduced as well. This new champion is called Zeri, a Zonian marksman that controls electricity. Zeri is currently out on PBE for players to test, but she'll be available soon on live servers in a couple of weeks. Next, we're going to talk about Valorant. Valorant, just like League of Legends, also got a brand new update called Episode 4 Act 1, featuring a brand new Battle Pass with various cosmetics and skins to be earned, and most importantly, a brand new agent called Neon. Neon, just like Zeri mentioned earlier in the League of Legends part, is a character that controls electricity. So just like Zeri, Neon's kit will feature some abilities that give her more mobility, as well as the ability to attack opposing agents with electricity. Oh, here are some fun facts I found out while doing some research on these two topics. Neon is the first Filipino agent in Valorant, and both Zeri and Neon share the same voice actor. Nothing too exciting, I guess, but it's still kinda interesting to at least know about. Alright, that wraps up our segment on major news, and now let's move on to our next segment featuring some rather interesting rumors about a specific sci-fi franchise. So, over the week, there has been some rather solid rumors that there will be a sequel for Star Wars The Fallen Order, with a target release window of 2022. And the game is supposedly set to be announced during this year's E3. Aside from that, there's also a rumor that Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is set to have a remake that will aim to be released on 2023. This remake will supposedly feature a brand new game mode and will be exclusive to the PS5 upon release. These are all rumors at the moment, but hey, most of the time when we do get rumors on any titles, the rumors mostly end up being true. So for all of you Star Wars fans out there, better be hyped as you guys are going to get some pretty awesome titles coming your way soon. That's all we have on rumors this week, and now let's move on to our Flash News segment. The first piece of news we have for our Flash News segment is about the release of a game called Nobody Saves the World, which is set to arrive on the 18th of January. Nobody Saves the World is a top-down action RPG game that can be played alone or co-op with a friend. Within the game, your character will be able to transform into various different forms for combat purposes, traversing terrain, or maybe entering certain restricted areas. Among the forms that you can choose from are some pretty weird ones, including a horse, a zombie, and somehow an egg? I'm not really sure how the game works, but it does look pretty interesting. Overall, the game looks very interesting due to its various styles of combat and unique transformations, so I do recommend you guys pick up the game and try it out. Of course, if any of you own the Game Pass, then you guys can enjoy the game for free upon its release on the January the 18th. The second piece of news we have for this week is regarding Devolver Digital's Serious Sam series. So over the past week, Devolver Digital has announced that a brand new Serious Sam game called Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem will be releasing on the 25th of January. The new title would be a standalone expansion of the existing Serious Sam 4, and like its title suggests, the game will take place in the chilly climate of Siberia. So for fans of the Serious Sam series, make sure that you guys check out this game when it's releasing in 2 weeks' time. The third piece of news we have is regarding a brand new South Park game that is in the early stages of development. Currently, there's not much known about this upcoming South Park game, as it's still in its early development phase, but I personally am very excited for this game as I enjoyed the previous title like Stick of Truth and The Fractured Butthole. For any of you that haven't tried out either of these games, I do suggest that you guys actually try it out as it's pretty fun. I mean, it's a turn-based game kind of, but it's very fun and it can be kind of PG-18, but it's a game that's pretty interesting regardless. So yeah, I do suggest that you guys check it out. And do make sure to stay connected with our channel so you guys can stay up to date on all the upcoming gaming news when it's released. The last piece of Flash news we have for this week is regarding the upcoming Apex Legends Dark Depths event. The new event will start on the 11th of January and will end on the 1st of February. This new event will feature a brand new arena map called Habitat, which looks a lot like the existing Battle Royale map Stormpoint, as a new Habitat map features a more tropical vibe. Aside from the new map, the event will also bring about new skins for Lifeline, Caustic, as well as Fuse, so for any of you that main these three characters, you guys can check out these brand new skins. And that wraps up our Flash News segment. Now let's move on to some exciting games that are being released this week. First off, for this week, we have Monster Hunter Rise being released on Steam. Monster Hunter Rise, which was previously only available on the Switch, is finally coming out on PC. So rejoice all you Monster Hunter fans out there, as I am quite confident that a large majority of you would rather play the game on PC rather than playing it on the Switch. I mean, who wouldn't want to play such a wonderful game with higher graphics quality and higher frame rate? Granted, you do lose the ability to play the game at any place at any time, since there's pretty much no way you can bring your PC with you everywhere you go, but personally, I would rather take the visuals upgrade over the portability aspect that the Switch provides. The next title we have being released is Astroneer, that will be out and available for the Nintendo Switch. Astroneer is a sandbox adventure game that is somewhat similar to No Man's Sky, but with much cuter and vibrant visuals. So for any of you guys that are interested in the sandbox game genre, or are just interested in venturing into new areas, Definitely give this game a shot as the game is currently available on PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, as well as PC via Steam. The last featured title we have that's being released this week is the critically acclaimed God of War, coming to PC via Steam and Epic Game Store. I personally am extremely hyped for this game as I don't own a PS4 and I really like the God of War series. I mean, who doesn't like the badass Kratos hacking and slashing at gods and turning them into bits and pieces? So for any of you that are really into the God of War series but have not played the most recent game yet, make sure to get the game when it's finally released on PC. With that in mind, let's move on to our final segment of the week, free games. For this week, we only have one free game and it's for PC players only. Sorry console players. This week, Epic Games Store will be giving out Galactic Civilization 3, so be sure to get the game as soon as possible while it's still available. And that wraps up our episode for this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, right, before I forget, starting from this episode onwards, we'll be releasing a video version of our weekly podcast in YouTube under the channel Game Things. Each new video will be released on Saturday, while our weekly podcast will be released weekly on Friday. So do make sure to check out the video version as well for all our current podcast listeners. As for the video viewers, you guys should also check out our weekly podcast as it's, after all, released slightly earlier than our videos. That's basically it for this week. I was your host for the week, Ming, and make sure to tune in to next week's episodes of Game Things. Thank you.